Here we go. So today's session will be recorded. Welcome to Olive Live, Learn, Thrive on Thursdays. We have been doing online sessions because of the changing weather and the heat. And we were so happy to meet Dr. Sultana Ikramullah, our speaker for today. I recently got to know her. And
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you for coming. And what I would like all of you, if you can you mute yourselves till our speaker is done talking. If you have questions, please wait till the end of the session. You can also put them in the chat box because, you know, in case you forget the question for later, so you can always do that. I wanted to introduce her a little bit. She is a physician specialized in psychiatry. She's been practicing for over 25 years now. She got her training and residency from Cooper Hospital. It's an affiliate of Rutgers University in New Jersey. And right now she is working as
Sorry, I had to attend a phone call, so I had to run and then come back to Zoom.
No worries. Is it okay if I mute everyone? Okay, perfect. That way we can pay attention to our speaker. And then she is practicing right now as a private practice practitioner and works part-time. And she specializes in adult and geriatric clients. For fun, she said she likes to travel, socialize, and go for walks with her besties. Right? Okay, wonderful. Well, welcome, Dr. Sultana. Thank you so much for being here today with us, and take it away.
Thank you very much. Thank you for taking time to come to listen to my presentation. And I will try to do my best to deal with today's topic, which is stress management. So before we start talking about how to manage our stress, we have to sort of know what is stress, what are the signs and symptoms of stress, complications of stress, and of course then we will lastly speak of how to manage the stress. Now, all of us have gone through stress in our lives. I don't think there is anybody here who will say, I've never had any stress in my life. So whether it is small stress or big stress, so stressors are always divided into two parts. One is an acute stress. Acute stress meaning like here and now, you know, if, for example, we are driving on the freeway, traffic is backed up and you're stressed out, or there is, you know, they're taking somebody being, you being sick, or we going for a job interview, or we are taking a test, you know, or some having arguments maybe with our spouses, or having to deal with our kids' problems. So all these are acute, go under the category of acute stress. And that acute stress is recognizable. So we know, okay, I had a test, I have a test, and, you know, I'm going through stress. So that is recognizable and easily treated. The dangerous stress is really, I'll use a medical term called chronic stress. Chronic means a long, lasting for a long, long time. And that is dangerous because that can, in a few minutes, I will tell you why it is more dangerous than the acute stress. So what are the chronic stress? You know, I have a few examples. I'm sure you may have many other examples. Some of the examples are your own health. You know, people suffering from chronic diseases, cancers, arthritis, diabetes. You know, all these put us under stress. So that is, or this, or health issues in our family, your husband, kids, you know, and that is ongoing, and we are stressed out all the time. Then there may be other stress like, you know, ongoing, hopefully not, but ongoing marital problems or ongoing problems with our kids, extended families, etc. So as long as, and sometimes we don't even realize, okay, your son or your daughter or your, are upset with you and are not talking with you, and you don't, you're always stressed out with what is going to happen. We worry about the future, and we don't try to resolve it, but we let it go on and on and on. So those are some of them. I'm sure you may be thinking of some other stress. Like I know if your husband, if your spouses are sick and you're taking care of your spouses, and so everybody, as I was telling Zainab, that everybody asks, okay, how's your husband doing? With the sick person, people ask about the sick person, but if you're a caregiver, they won't ask how are you doing, because it is a lot of stress taking care. I went through this with my husband, who had a stroke, and he was on a wheelchair, and he was total care. So I had to do everything, taking care of him as well as taking care of the household things as well, all by myself. So that is a chronic stress. I went through that for 6 years. So that is something we have to recognize. So when we are under stress, it is not simple. There is a complexity of multiple things which go on in our body. It's an interplay of our brain, of our body, immune system, especially and different organs of the body, the adrenal glands, the heart, and when these are happening in our body, we are not aware of it. So if your immune system is disturbed, we are not going to have pain, or we are not going to have, we are not going to recognize it. But slowly and gradually, the immune system is affected. The heart slowly, gradually is affected. And we may go on and not realize how much destruction we are producing in our body because of all these multiple things. So, and I'm going to ask you a question after this, just kidding. But what happens when there is an acute stress? So suppose you're going for an interview tomorrow, or let's say taking a test, like at our age, maybe we have to take a written driver's test, or we have to take a road test. There may be several different things, but these are the things I'm thinking of. So if you are in tune with your body, what happens? Your heart is beating fast, you're breathing hard, your muscles are all tensed up, and your blood pressure is going up. Of course, you cannot take your blood pressure and you don't know. But if you see, when you go to a doctor's office, why do they want you to sit for a little while before they take your blood test and blood pressure, and your pulse, of course? Because we are running to the doctors, trying to keep the appointment, we are driving, so the blood pressure may go up all the time. So that's why they want you to relax and then take your pulse and blood pressure. So, but the long term, what happens when you are under chronic stress? You may not know, but suddenly a person may have a stroke, or suddenly a person may have a heart attack. Headaches, migraine headache could be part of a stress related. Ulcers, those are some high blood pressure, diabetes, cancer. All these are chronic stress-related condition. We may not realize it, and we may say, okay, we run to the doctors. Oh, he had a heart attack. Why did he have a heart attack? Or they have a headache. I don't know why we always have a headache, but there may be just this chronic stress which we've been struggling with on and on and on, which may be the reason for all this. Of course, the mental condition are, you may be irritable all the time. You may get angry with little things. and of course, depression, anxiety are all, part of symptoms of chronic stress. Of course, there's only one man here. I don't know if he smokes or not, but I know most we women don't smoke. But sometimes things like, and of course, these are also for other people. People I see people who start drinking more or smoking more and destroying your body more by relying on these things to control their depression and anxiety. And so I want to say, what is it we want in our life, right? Well, we want to have good health. We want to be happy and relaxed and be able to enjoy family and friends. So basically, whether we have 1 year to live or we have 20 years to live, we want to enjoy life. We want to be healthy and happy, and that is the goal in life. And how do we achieve that goal? So these are simple things I'm going to tell you. Of course, for difficult stress management things, we have to go at higher levels. So the simple things, first of all, you have to recognize that you are under stress. So you're maybe and you're a housewife, and your spouses are are very controlling, very demanding, and you've lived with this stress all your life. Running around, doing this, keeping the house clean, cooking, and cooking also. Some of the spouses are very particular. This is not good, and so there is a constant stress, and you have to recognize it. And if possible, see if you can take care of it. But recognition is the most important, and see if you can resolve it. Then ongoing stress, other ongoing stress is poor management of our time. So if we are working, then and if suppose you have to be at work at 8 a.m., but you haven't you get up late, or you haven't decided what you want to wear, or and you're rushed. So what are you doing when you rush? You're driving. All the time your heart is beating fast. I want to be in time. I hope I'm not late. This and that. So of course I have a patient schedule at 8 a.m. and if I'm not there at 8 a.m., they start getting all upset, and they may yell and scream at you. So all this is constant stress. And of course, if you're home and if you have to do a lot of housework, or you have to do grocery shopping, or go to doctor's appointments. So all this requires proper time management. So then you don't get stressed by being late and running behind time all the time. Then the third thing is, I know many of us have that personality where we say yes to everything. So I'll give an example. I'm sure all our daughters and the kids are good and all that, but I do see patients, and they get stressed out and they complain to me, but they can't complain to their kids. So they may have like a 2-year-old child and a 4 or 5-year-old child, and they want to work or they want to have a nice time, and they leave their kids to babysit. And at our age, because I'm sure most of us are seniors, at our age, we don't want to run around. I mean, we love them to death, they're grandkids. So we love them to death, but running around behind a 2-year-old, or taking care of a 6-year-old, it takes a lot out of you. So to take the responsibility. If you feel you can do it, or if you cannot do it, then be assertive and tell them that, okay, I'll take care of the children, but I can only do it, say 2 days or 3 days at a time or something. Or sometimes you may have a friend. The friend may always cannot drive and will always call you, okay, I have a doctor's appointment. Can you take me there? I have to do grocery shopping. Can you take me there? Can you take me to the mall? So some of them can be really demanding. So be careful. So these are some of the examples. I'm sure there are many examples that you guys may think of. So eventually, all this can take its toll on you. Then the next thing is
No, it's just.
okay. Make sure you have a good circle of friends and family. Somebody, if you're stressed out about something, you can share your problems. You trust them, and you can share your problems, and they may help you to resolve those problems. And I think Olive has a support group also. Yeah, so that is a good place to go and discuss your issues. Then it may be like a self-help group, some other person may be going through the same thing and may have good stress management techniques to help you. So have a good circle of friends, have good relationships with the family, so you can talk things over with them and they can provide support. And avoid people who stress you. I would avoid people who stress you out, because if you're already under stress and they're burdening you with their own issues, then it's better to avoid those people. You can direct them somewhere else, but you don't want to. I always say to my patients also, so if you're a caregiver or if you're doing something, if you yourself are not feeling good, you cannot help anybody. And I give example to my patients that suppose I have a fever and a sore throat, and then I say, no, I have to go and see my patient. I have to go and see my patient. Then I'm not going to be good for them. Half the time I'm coughing or and you holding my head and all that. So we have to be healthy in order to be, so that's what I'm saying. So don't go with people who are going to stress you out also. And have a positive attitude towards life. And of course, whatever stress we are going through, we have to be positive. One of the things, of course, we are all Muslims, so we all put our trust in God and believe that that's our belief, that God is putting us through this stress for some reason, and things will get better. So we make duas and we make, pray. And so that's positive thinking. We are hoping for the best. We are hoping that things will work out for us. Don't be negative and don't say, oh my God, why am I suffering? Why does this happen to me? Why this, why that? The more you're doing that, the more you are inducing stress hormones in your body. And I'll tell you about the stress hormones in a few minutes. So, but the job of the stress hormone is to elevate your blood pressure, your pulse, your heart rate, and multiple things in your body go wrong when this stress hormone is produced. So the next thing is a good diet. I don't have time to discuss what food does what to help reduce stress. But a good diet is very, very important. Some of the things, and of course, I have a dietitian sitting next to me. She may help us out in the end. They say that if you eat fatty fish, the fatty fish is tuna, salmon, trout. That reduces the surge of stress hormone. The stress hormone is called as cortisol and adrenaline, which is produced by the adrenal glands. And these are all produced when we are under stress. So it's supposed to reduce the surge of that stress hormone. The second is black tea, believe it or not. The black tea reduces stress. Then whole grain bread, pastas, they increase the serotonin in our body. The serotonin is, you know, there are a lot of antidepressants which improve the serotonin in our body, which helps reduce this depression and anxiety. So these are some of the oranges, you know, they say that oranges or any citrus fruits reduce the stress hormones, and they also help, you know, with our immune system. And very, very, very important, I don't know how many people do it, exercise. You know, some of my patients say, doctor, I'm on my feet all day, I'm cleaning the house, I'm cooking. That is not a good exercise because it's not as relaxing as when you do regular exercise. It can be a simple walk for half an hour or 45 minutes. It has to be regular. It has to be consistent. So exercise you should put in your daily routine. Take time off. People say, oh, we don't have time, we can't do it, but you'll find the time, you know, if you have as I said, a good time management skills, you will find the time to do it. And what does exercise do? It helps reduces tension, it relaxes our muscles, and when we exercise, there is a feeling good hormone, believe it or not, produced, is released. And these are hormones are called endorphins, and this endorphin makes us feel good. So if you are exercising, you would see after a good walk or you know, good exercise. You can do it at home if you have a treadmill or you know, any kind of exercise machine. You can do it. And some people, they say, oh, we don't want to go out for a walk all by ourselves. I always say, okay, if you have if we have a backyard, just go back and forth, you know, so long in your backyard. So there's no excuse, basically. It also, exercise also reduces the stress hormone, which I just mentioned, cortisol. And there are other enzymes which are released when we exercise. These enzymes are called serotonin and dopamine. Dopamine is a feeling good enzyme produced in the body, and serotonin, when it increases, it reduces the depression. Then I hope I'm not going too fast for you guys. Avoid things that cause stress. And let me give an example. Like some people, I have two people in my social group who cannot drive. And the reason they cannot drive, I mean, they used to drive, but but for the past few years, they haven't been driving. And they're far, they can drive close by. And why can't they drive? Because they had an accident. And so they don't drive anymore. They depend on other people to take them to places. So if you feel stressed out about driving, you know, don't push yourself to do it, basically. So driving is one, or any activity which causes stress, try to avoid that. And sleep. Sleep is very, very important. A good night's sleep is very important. If you're not sleeping, there is a problem. Definitely there is some stress going on. That's why you cannot sleep. Unless, of course, you're drinking too much caffeine before going to bed, or, you know, arguing or whatever. That is different, but chronic stress causes sleep disturbance. And what happens in our body? There is a stress hormone which I mentioned, cortisol, which, if we check it, it is elevated in the mornings because we are doing things in the morning and under, you know, normal stress. In the evening, that stress hormone has to decrease. So if we do the test of the cortisol hormone in our blood, we find it is high in the morning and low in the evenings. It has to be low in the evenings. If it is not low, because when it is low, there is another enzyme produced in our brain which is called as melatonin. I'm sure many of you have heard about that. The melatonin has to be released in our brain for us, which helps us to sleep. But if the cortisol is constantly high in the evenings, it's not going to, melatonin will be reduced. And when it is reduced, we are not able to sleep. So these are, things which are going on in our body, which we don't realize. It's such a complex of, interplay of so many things, the hormones, the enzymes, we call them neurotransmitters in the brain, the different organs, there's interplay of everything. So sleep is very important. Then deep breathing, but that is deep breathing. When we do deep breathing, there are two kinds of systems in which there is a sympathetic. So this is too medical. I don't know if I want to mention it, but I'll go ahead and say it. Sympathetic system and parasympathetic system. When we do deep, the sympathetic system is responsible to elevate our blood pressure and our pulse. Both are important. If they're in balance, both are important. But when we do deep breathing, it quietens the sympathetic system. So our pulse is not rapid and our blood pressure goes down. So breathing from your nose and exhaling from your mouth. That's called deep breathing. And feeling your abdomen going in. Don't do shallow breathing. No, that's bad. Just breathe from your nose and exhale from your mouth. So that helps helps us to relax also. So last but not the least, I'm sure many of you have already heard this, and I'm not going to, because I don't do meditation. Usually the psychologists do it. So there are many different ways of doing what is called as meditation, mindfulness meditation. And I'm just going to give you one simple exercise, but there are many ways to do it. There are complex ways and simple ways. The one of the most simple way I'm going to tell you is called mindfulness meditation. So take a chair, sit on a chair, or sit on a sofa, sit on your bed, wherever you feel comfortable, you can sit. And either close your eyes or keep your eyes open, doesn't matter. And then concentrate on your body. And in your body, you see the breathing. When we are breathing, what is happening? When we are breathing, air going inside your nose and air coming out of the nose. So that is one function. The other is your chest is going in and your chest is going out. The third is the abdomen going in and the abdomen going out. Breathing is so automatic that we don't realize all these things are happening. So but when you're doing the meditation, just concentrate on one type of breathing. Suppose you concentrate on breathing from your nose, exhaling and inhaling. Just concentrate. Close your eyes and just concentrate on breathing in, breathing out from your nose. And of course, it's our habit, when we are doing some exercise, tons of thoughts will come in your head. What am I going to cook today? I have to go do my grocery. What am I going to? So try to get rid of those thoughts. As soon as that thought comes to you, get rid of it and just concentrate on the breathing. So that will, at the end of when you do it, you'll realize how what wonders it will bring just by doing this simple exercise. So in the end, I want to say that all these stress management techniques which I've talked about, these are very simple. And if you follow them, hopefully you will get better. But if you don't, and your depression and anxiety has lasted for several weeks, you should really get help. And most of us, feel very comfortable. Especially in the Muslim community, they think twice before going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist. So if you feel comfortable talking to your family doctor, just let the family doctor know that, doctor, I have a headache. We usually ask, okay, if you have a headache, when did it start? Did it start when your troubles started, or you've had it all your life? So we have to pinpoint the event when it started. So discuss with your family doctor, and the family doctor will further advise you as to what to do next, what should be your next step. So she may refer you to a psychologist or a therapist first. Sad to say, many people, Muslim patients ask me, do we have any Muslim psychologists? Very few. There are very few psychologists that I know of. And I don't know if in Orange County, I know my daughter is a therapist. There in Orange County, there may be a few, but I work mostly out of Covina. Then, or they may refer, or if you're not sleeping, you're not eating, you're losing weight, you're constantly lying on bed and not doing anything, then you really may need some medications to help you. So I have so many examples, of my friends also who, recent example, of a friend of mine whose husband passed away. She lost a lot of weight, and eventually, she did consult a psychiatrist, and she's on medications now. And believe it or not, has been a big difference. So, I know people are reluctant to go on medications and stuff. And then just have your family doctor. If you feel uncomfortable going to a psychiatrist or a therapist, just have your family doctor prescribe something for you. And it's temporary. If you usually for 9 months at least, you have to take the medication. So that's the end of my talk, and thank you for listening. And we will.
Are you ready for questions?
Yes, let's just open up.
Do you want to do a pop quiz and see if they were listening to you or not?
Okay.
Yeah. Can anybody mention like 3 things they learned how to reduce stress? I mean, she mentioned quite a few. Can any volunteers? I need 1 person. 3 things.
Eat tuna.
Eat tuna. Okay. 1 more.
Walk.
Wow. Okay. 1 more.
Laziest.
1 more.
Breathing exercise.
Breathing exercise.
Very good.
What is it? Reading exercise?
Breathing exercise.
And
Perfect.
say no. And say no if somebody
Say
or
no.
something. Yeah.
No. Okay.
Good. I'm glad you were listening, huh?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And what was the stress hormone that she mentioned? Anyone?
Cortisol?
Melatonin.
Cortisol.
Cortisol. Good
Cortisol.
job.
Cortisone.
Yeah.
Cortisol.
Which hormone helps reduce stress? She mentioned
Melatonin.
Serotonin.
Helps you to sleep.
sleep.
I have a
Yeah.
question, please.
It starts with an S.
Serotonin.
Can I ask a question?
Serotonin.
Okay.
Do you advise
Yes.
us to use melatonin pills or supplements or something for sleeping?
Yeah, melatonin is a good medication for sleep. It is natural and not habit forming. Many of the doctors prescribe medication that you develop a habit and you have a hard time getting rid of it. So melatonin is a good medication to take it. But of course, you have to find out why you're not sleeping. So that is the number one on the list. Is it stress? Is it a physical problem, pain, aches and pains, whatever it is. Try to figure out what is the reason. But of course, if you know the reason and you still cannot sleep, melatonin is a good medication. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
What was dopamine? I forgot.
Dopamine.
Dopamine is produced in our brain. It's called a feeling good hormone.
Feeling
So,
good or
Oh, I see. Okay.
so
That's why some people say they're taking a dope.
let me
And
give
now
you
I understand.
let me give you a
Remember from
good
there.
example. Yeah, let me give you a good example. All of us, I'm sure, many of us like chocolate. Many of us like ice cream. What does that do? It increases the dopamine in our brain.
In
And
a
we
brain,
go,
that's
"Oh,
right.
we feel good. So
Make
go
you
on, more
feel
chocolate,
good.
more chocolate." Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Good question. Somebody said, what is the 3 types of fish you mentioned? Tuna, salmon, and what else?
Trout.
Trout.
Trout. Trout. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. As for meditation, how long would you recommend you do the meditation?
So it depends. You can do 10, 15 minutes every day. If you want, you can do for half an hour. Do more than half an hour. I
Okay.
think 10, 15 minutes should be good enough. Yeah.
Thank you.
Zainab, you are good. Can you send us some kind of a video? You know how you always show us good videos. Maybe we can learn through you how to meditate.
I am today trying out a meditation class right after this class. And if I enjoy it, I will bring that speaker to our olive sessions. Would you guys like a meditation?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
that will be good.
Because you always gave us TED talks and stuff like that. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, yeah, and it would be nice to have a live instructor. But on YouTube, there is a lot of, they're called visual imagery videos. Like,
What are they called? I'm sorry, you
they're
faded out.
visual imagery meditation. So it's just basically a 5-minute video where, somebody is asking you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, be aware of your surroundings. There's also an app called the Calm app, CALM. I think there's a cost to it, but that also has ways of you can, manage stress. Again, sometimes as women especially, we don't give ourselves time. So those could be good one. I have a comment about caregivers. We have caregiving support resource talks coming up in our outreach sessions in Anaheim and in Yorba Linda, but I'll try to see if we can get a caregiving online version so our audience that can only attend online can also benefit from that. I 100% agree. I was telling Sultana Auntie before we started a session that many of our Olivers are caregivers for their spouses, and it's very draining. I mean, you're aging yourself and you don't have enough time for you. So I'm glad you brought that up because you also went through, your own personal journey. And how did you manage, Auntie?
Well, it was like one day my husband is doing everything. He's my companion. He's doing, helping around the house. And of course, the next day he's gone. Gone in the sense he didn't pass away. He's gone in the sense that brain-wise, he's no longer there. He had a stroke. So suddenly I'm faced with having to do everything, having to take care of him, having to take care of the house, the bills, and everything. So let me tell you, for the first couple of years, my job was, for 1 year, he was in the nursing home. So, of course, I took a month off to be with him. And then, of course, I had to go back to work. And after work at 6 p.m., I would drive from Covina, leave at 5 p.m., go to the nursing home, sit with him till 8 p.m., 9 p.m. to make sure he's eating. And, they're keeping him clean. Believe me, if they're in nursing homes, you have to be there. Otherwise, they don't, sad to say, they are not very, they don't take, if you neglect, they won't take good care of them. So I used to do that. Then after the first 2 years, my brother who was here, my kids, my friends, all of them said, look, you have to take care of yourself also. So then after that, I started going out a little bit and started doing things to make sure that I'm healthy. Because if I'm not healthy, I'm no good for him either. So then I had to take care of myself also. So make sure, and it happens, people will ask, okay, how's your husband? Does he have any more issues, this, that, and the other? But then very few people ask me, how are you handling all this? It must be hard on you. So I'm sure many of you, some of you may be going through the same thing. And if nobody is asking, you speak up. And that's why the support groups, have a good friend you can talk to, or somebody, I feel so bad. I feel like crying. I feel so bad for my husband as well. I can't see him like this. All those things, you have to kind of talk. And that's what therapy is about. If you like, you may feel uncomfortable talking to your kids because you may think, oh, I don't want to burden them with my problems, or I don't want to burden my brother or my sister with my problems. So that's where the therapists come in. They are neutral people. It's very confidential. They are not going to tell anybody that, oh, so
That's right.
see me. It's confidential.
Mhm.
And then they help you. They help you with stress management, what to do. They help you with meditation. They help you, and you can talk, you can verbalize. Believe me, just giving a chance to talk giving yourself a chance to talk to somebody reduces so much stress from your shoulders.
That is so important. And I've heard my friend who's a therapist, she always says, like, it's like a prescription, like 3 times, maybe 3 sessions could be good. For some, maybe 10 sessions. So look at it like, just like how you have a medication prescription, therapy can be a prescription too.
Yeah.
And I like how you mentioned about the person themselves, Auntie, because this is another thing I learned recently is I statements. So people, if you're trying to express how you feel, don't say, you make me stressed out. Say, I am stressed. Use the word I statements. I am feeling stressed. I am tired. And that really doesn't sound too hostile to the person you're expressing. Who knows who that stress is coming from, but that's the proper way to express how you feel.
Very good point. Yeah.
And the other thing I will say,
I also want to share.
Sure. A lot of people will say, oh, can we help? Let us know if we can help you. Nobody can help you when you need a help.
What do you have to say to that, Auntie, when people are offering?
This is just kind of a word. It's just a common word to say, oh, let us know if we can help you.
There are some people who are genuine. They really want. For example,
that's right. There are very few.
For example, my brother, his wife was in the hospital for 1 month, in a semi-comatose state. So how did I help him? I cooked food for him. I didn't ask him, can I help you? I did it. Practically, I did it. So among your friends, you'll know who's genuine, who's loyal. I had a few friends who really grabbed me from the nursing home. I was sitting on a weekend, with my husband, and they grabbed me. They came over to the nursing home and they said, come, we are taking you out, even if it's for a couple of hours. He'll be okay. There are nurses here. Come with us. So you'll know the difference, who are genuine and who are just saying.
Yeah. Because my husband, we took care of him for 6 months, almost maybe 4 or 5 months. He had Alzheimer, late stage of Alzheimer. And we didn't want him to go to any nursing home or any place else. We want to take care of him. But then it got so worse that I couldn't take care of myself. And then And then the children, we lived with one son, and the other son just came and helped us a few weeks and go back, and then his wife will come, something like that. Or the best thing was that because everybody is busy these days with their works and so on, if you can afford it, we hired people for 7 days a week, 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the evening to help us out. And that really made me to just get out of the house for a couple of hours and do whatever I want to do and then come back. And sometimes you have to stay home to make sure they're doing the right thing. Otherwise, they are sitting with their phone and nobody's watching them.
Yes. And Auntie, you bring up a good point. There's two factors right there, right? Number one, say I need help with ... right? So be good about communicating what you really need help with.
That's
and
right.
You accepting, see you taking on that caregiver. It was offered to you, your family arranged for it, you taking it on. See, it did wonders and it really was so important.
Yes, it does. Because children, while my daughter-in-law both, they both took care of the people, hiring, firing, whatever it was. Yeah, because sometimes people come and I don't like them. The way they work and the way they behave with him.
Yes.
We didn't want it. It took us a long time to figure it out, who is good and who is bad. And then we really got a good team of people and we just love them.
Very good.
One of the things, this is not in the subject, but if a spouse has Alzheimer's, and Alzheimer's usually creeps in, and you won't realize it's a slow growing mental disorder, and you may be angry. Oh, he's so forgetful. Oh, and they become paranoid and say, oh, where did you go? If you even stepped out for a couple of hours, you should educate yourself about what Alzheimer's is and not get angry. Don't get angry with them because they can't help it. The brain is going. So that is, you can be stressed out just by thinking, he's pretending, and in the morning I told him to do this and he didn't do it, and he just does this to make me angry. So lots
No, I don't think they will. They will do it this way.
So
but my husband was pretty good about it, and then my children were very good. We all got together and helped them out. And my purpose was that I didn't want him to suffer any which way. We have to bathe him every day, clean him every day, and we took care of him just like flower.
Very good.
That was
very
wonderful.
Good.
I'm gonna let
Bilqis
Bilqis go next,
go.
and then Amal, and then you, Rubina Auntie. Okay. So
okay, sure.
So when my husband was sick with his cancer, so it was a 3-year process. And I just have to say that I really took care of myself. Like I really took time to leave the house and exercise and just say, okay, I'm leaving. I need a break. And my daughters or, family member would come in and spend time with him. And so that was one. And then having a caregiver is really, a good caregiver is really important when you have one, because, we have a huge family, and they are always like, there would be 50 people with me all the time, and you have to worry about their food and this, and everyone would want to help and be with the family towards the end. And having a caregiver to take care of my husband just one-on-one is perfect, because then you don't feel guilty that you're not spending time with, like anyone can get upset or something. So I always had really good caregivers who took care of my husband. And it's my husband was alive, no one knew that I was stressed out. I was always like welcoming people, making sure he's surrounded by all his cousins and all family members. And he was like, he was happy. He was in a good mood all the time because he was suffering. So I just wanted to help him. And in the process, I was well taken care of too. And yes, it is really important. I work in a nursing home, in rehab centers, and all my nurses always ask me, how are you doing? Not how is your husband? And that always reminded me how I need to take care of myself.
That's great. That's good. And I'm sure his good mood was to do with your good mood.
Yeah. Yeah. But this thing on the caregiver, it is very sad that all insurances don't cover caregivers.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
If you have the means, then you can hire private caregivers. And many of us own homes and all that, so we don't have like government insurance. Government insurance pays for caregivers, but most of the all of the private insurances don't pay for caregivers. So
No.
that also we have to remember, and maybe save. I tell my kids, I'm going to save some money. So if, God forbid, if I need a caregiver, don't hesitate to hire a caregiver. Don't stress yourself out taking care of me.
So
that's
this was
one-
my husband's wish, that don't put me in a nursing home, hire a private caregiver and take care of me. And I did exactly how he wanted,
Good.
and have a Muslim caregiver for him he knew her. And so always, try to look for caregivers in case if you need somebody in any time. We are all aging and we need to look out for like good caregivers. And Olive is also looking at starting a caregiver solution, a service that we will provide in the future. And we will train people to go and provide caregiving at homes too. So that's one thing we are looking into very seriously.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Amal, would you like to go forward?
Assalamu alaikum. How are you all? Actually, I want to share, reading. I was reading this morning. It was in Arabic. I will not be able to share it but it was from, I don't know if you all know Dr. Majdi Yaqub. He's like a very famous cardiologist for the heart. I mean, he's Egyptian, but he's very famous here in the States and for many years ago. But he was saying that maybe all of his patients who came with a heart disease, they are sad patients. He says sadness will hurt our hearts and will make our hearts sad. So he said, don't be sad because your heart will be sick. It's nothing physical, but because when we put, I don't know how, keep things inside in our heart, and start feeling sad, helpless, hopeless, this is what makes the heart the physical heart disease. So I was reading this in the morning. I said, this is very something very good for me to read in the morning, so you can start your day knowing how to deal with your emotions, and so they don't affect your physical body, your body or organs. So this is I want to share. And the other thing I want to share is for most of us, when we feel the emptiness, the kids are not here anymore and they don't need us anymore, and we start feeling sad for that, or sad for ourselves. So I think that we need to start to cope with adjust with these things, and start spending more times with the grandkids if we have grandkids, because I believe they are the blessing for our in our age in this time. And spending time with kids, I believe it's also one of the good things to make, or for our emotion plan, is to spend some time with kids, because you feel different, you don't feel stress. They are always smiling, so you'll start smiling. You don't know why you are smiling, but they make me smiling a lot. So this is I want to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Rubina Auntie, I will let you go next. Thank you for being patient.
Yeah, I have 30 seconds before going to the next meeting. I just want to thank everybody, and especially our guest sister. I mean, it's amazing. And Bilqis already shared with you, and Akika is very much involved, and we are recognizing this need for caregivers. And inshallah, in not long future, Olive will be trying to help in this area as well. And what the request I have is that if you know of people who are looking for jobs and careers, please tell them to look towards Olive, because we will be recruiting people and training them and supporting them as well. So we will be creating jobs. It can be part-time jobs. It can be full-time jobs. And because we'll be doing it among ourselves, we can be very flexible. And we can, suit the people as the recipients as well as the givers. So we feel that that's the next frontier for Olive to add on to these programming that we have that Zainab runs very, very successfully. And my partners in success, I'm not going to use the other word, that are on this call, are Bilqis and Akika, are among others, are taking a very active role in creating.
And
what
Sajida. And Sajida.
And Sajida, she's there too, yes. And this initiative will be called Olive Cares. So stay tuned and let's work on it together.
What kind of jobs?
Is it for caregiving jobs?
Yes, all spectrum in the health, in the senior support industry, caregivers, etc. And we'll see how far it takes us, and we'll reach out to you and your sister friends as well to help us along. We're just beginning.
We welcome your duas as well, please, for our success.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation today. And Dr. Sultana, Ikramullah, thank you for your expertise. I think you did such a wonderful job of summarizing. I hope you all were taking notes because she really highlighted the key things of how you can relieve stress. And I hope you leave today with at least one thing that you will, practice on a daily basis, on a more regular basis. It could be sleep, it could be breathing, meditation, saying no, all those good things that she mentioned, a good diet, exercise. And these are small things that you could do that will take you a long way and help you relieve stress. And also talk to your doctor if you have some symptoms that she mentioned. So important because they might recommend either seeing a therapist or medication or whatnot. Anything else? Closing thoughts?
Thank you very much. And so thank you for listening. And I hope my presentation has helped you. And I'm just listening. Practicing will be very important also, because I'm sure at our stage in lives, we have some stress or other we are going through. Thank you very much.
All right. Take care.
Olive Community Services is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based in Southern California that provides culturally appropriate services to seniors, their family, and the community. Through its physical and virtual interactive programs, Olive engages participants in a variety of ways that promotes health and well-being. To learn more about Olive Community Services, to get involved, or to make a donation, please visit www.olivecs.org or email info@olivecs.org. Be a change maker, and together, let's live, learn, and thrive.